My name is Harrison David Rivers, and welcome to Here We Are.
Thank you, Harrison, for being with us here today.
Sure. Thanks for having me.
Always. So I have a couple questions for you.
Yeah.
What draws you to the theater?
Oh, God. So I grew up in a religious household. I went to church almost every night of the week growing up, and I think I sort of became disillusioned with that experience over time, but that same sort of goosebumpy feeling that I felt whenever the choir sang, I find in the theater. That same sort of connectivity between the folks sitting in the pews, sitting in the audience, I find in the theater. So I think I love the theater for that. I love it for that feeling that you feel when you're right next to somebody that you don't know, but you can feel the electricity between your elbows, like in the seats. I love that. I love the energy of an audience. I love the sort of camaraderie, the community that's built. I don't really think there's anything like live performance. Sort of where I want to live every single minute of every single day.
Beautifully said. And speaking about that, is there a show that you've seen that you're like, oh my gosh, how come I did not write this? How come I didn't work on this?
A show. I mean, okay, there's a show called Passing Strange, which is a musical that was written by Stu and Heidi Rodewald. It premiered in New York City many years ago at the Public Theater. And actually it was the first show where I went and I saw myself on stage, like a young Black protagonist, sort of struggling with his identity, with family dynamics, wanting to be an artist, but not really knowing how to be an artist. A sort of brilliant rock score. I remember I went 13, 14, 15 times, bought the cheap seats in the back, stood up for the entire show, treated it like a rock concert, honestly. But like that, feeling seen in the theater, feeling seen, I think that piece more than any other piece that I've ever seen, I was sort of like, that's me. I've never seen myself before on stage. I must matter. So that would be the production.
That's beautiful, and that's such an electric feeling, like you said, where you feel represented, you feel seen.
Totally.
Now, you as a writer, is that something that drives you to write shows that people can see themselves in now?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like when I was in graduate school, I was writing sort of like generic plays, really, like anybody can be in this play. This is a play for anybody, which I think there's beauty in that. There's beauty in sort of creating a world in which anybody can exist. But I also felt like I had friends who were actors, friends who were directors who like just couldn't get cast, weren't seeing themselves in any of the roles that they were playing, and so it became really important for me to sort of write for them. So I started off as a writer by writing for specific artists, mostly Black, mostly queer, women, sort of people who I felt like their stories weren't being told, and I think I've sort of continued to do that. So most of the characters in my plays are brown, they're queer, and I think they have a really strong sense of interiority. Like we really get to see and hear what they're thinking, what they're feeling on the inside, things that like maybe they wouldn't normally say in real life, that maybe people who look like me don't get the chance to say them out loud. In my plays, they do, and the audience, I think, bears witness to that.
Again, beautifully said.
Thanks.
And I think, isn't there such a wide range in specificity? We can make things general, but when you get specific, there's actually so much that can open up instead of close down.
Yeah, I think people see themselves when it's super specific, even if like the character doesn't look like them or isn't from the same place. Like I think like the hyper specific, you're like, ooh, but that element, that gets me, that hits me right here. Which, I mean, again, that's what live theater can do. It gets you right here in the heart and in the gut, I think.
Yeah. Speaking of that,
yeah.
This Bitter Earth.
Yes.
What inspired you to write this show?
Yeah, This Bitter Earth was a commission by a theater called New Conservatory Theater Center in San Francisco. It was commissioned in 2015 around the question, what is it like to walk around the United States in a Black body in a particularly like tumultuous time? This was sort of after Trayvon Martin's murder. This was sort of a time when Black men, Black trans folks were being killed, and I feel like members of the community were in an uproar. The United States was sort of in an uproar, and I had a lot of complicated feelings about that. I wasn't really sure like where I fit in, and so that's sort of what I channeled into this play. Like, what is it to be Black in a time of uber conflict and not know if your place is on the front lines. If it's not on the front lines, then where is it? Is that apathy? Is that, like, what is that? And so This Bitter Earth sort of came from that.
Yeah, and this is the second remounting of This Bitter Earth a few years later, 6-7 years later.
Here in London.
Here in London. And how does it feel relevant today's age?
I mean, I think one writes a play like this, a sort of period piece, a piece set in a very specific time, at a particular time of conflict, and you think, wouldn't it be nice if in a few years this is irrelevant? If, like, actually we teach this, remember that time when there was a lot of hatred, when Black people were being killed, when people were being disrespected, where people were being shipped off to other places, where we couldn't find it in our hearts to make space for everyone. Wouldn't it be nice to, like, look back and say, like, so there was this time where this happened, and now we don't do that anymore. Now we are not those things. So it's, like, thrilling to have the play on again. It's also a little bit sad that we're still sort of in that same political, social moment. But the play, I think, feels relevant. I think it feels of the now. I feel like it has a sense of urgency that it had then, but, like, maybe it's even more acute now. And I think maybe the message of the play is even more important now, because really this is a love story. So it's a play about the importance of love and about, like, trying to connect and, like, not giving up on that connection even when things get hard.
Talking about connection in the world right now, we were supposed to live in a world where it feels so easy to connect with people through social media, but there's a feeling of disconnection around the world. What are your thoughts about that right now?
I mean, again, so I keep coming back to live theater. To me, it feels like the more local you can go right now, the more chance there is for change. And I feel like coming to the theater, whatever theater, large, small, West End, off-Broadway, whatever it is, that gathering of people in one place to experience a story together, feeling together, crying together, laughing together, I think that's where change happens. I think change can happen there. So all the stuff that's happening in the world outside, like, I actually feel like to be galvanized, to be sort of reassured, to be energized, to be electrified, come to the theater. I mean, that's, I think, where you're gonna experience those things. And ideally, you'll come to This Bitter Earth or any other piece of theater, and you will leave feeling like, okay, I can do this. I can be in this world. I can be here now. I can be me here now. And I can bring my best self to the world at large.
Yeah. Speaking about This Bitter Earth one more time,
yeah.
How is it to work with Billy Porter?
I mean, Billy is everything, really. Billy is a creature of the now. He is one of the most urgent humans I have ever met, the most present humans I have ever met, and I think he's really channeled that into this play. I think he's brought new life to it. I look at the play under Billy's direction, and I'm sort of like, oh yeah. Whether I knew that or not before he touched it, like, that's it. I mean, a tremendous human. Really, I think a huge resource. And yeah, I think the world is lucky to have him.
Yeah. If somebody was going to see This Bitter Earth, what's one thing you'd want them to walk away with?
Yeah, I think this is a play about, as I said before, trying. I think that we don't always connect. We don't always understand each other. I think sometimes we miss each other, ships sort of passing in the night. But I think it's really important that we try again. We try again to connect, to understand. And so, like, ideally, people are leaving and they're talking about what they experienced, and they're reaching out to people who weren't in the theater with them, and they're saying, like, those unresolved things that we have, maybe we should sit down and chat about those. Or maybe it's just a phone call home to say, like, hey, Mom, Dad, I love you. Just that reach out, that effort to reach out, make sure that people know that you care, and that you're open to listening, that you're open to hearing. I think that's really what the world needs right now, and hopefully that's what the play is encouraging us to do.
Beautiful. Last question I got for you.
Okay.
Your perfect day of writing, what would that entail for you? If you could have the dream writing day, what would that look like?
Yeah, I mean, first and foremost, lots and lots of coffee. I mean, caffeine is essential. I mean, I'm a morning writer, so I feel like a nice, cool, crisp day is helpful. I love writing outside, so the cool, crisp day works for that. And some kind of like aha moment, some sort of revelatory moment, some sort of breakthrough, like a day where you're like tapping and you're like, and then all of a sudden you're like, eureka! That's it. Like, I think that a day full of caffeine, some cool weather, and a revelation, perfect day of writing.
Is there any snacks, any sweets, any chocolates that you're like, ooh, this gets me going as well?
I'm not really a snacker, and I actually don't like chocolate. So no chocolate. Do I like any snacks? I mean, I like cinnamon gummy bears. I don't know if those are popular here in the UK. They're not popular in the United States either, but like, I really love them. So I suppose like a bag of those sweetens the day.
Yeah, it keeps up with the theme of your life. Just very specific and beautiful. Harrison, thank you so much for taking the time with us today.
Thank you so much. This was really fun.
Thank you.
Yeah.